Last year, a school district in Texas removed several books, the subject matter of which included things like gender confusion and transgender ideology. They removed those books from their school library, and in response, the ACLU of Texas filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights to contest and protest, alleging a Title IX violation. And, look, it's true the Department of Education can withhold federal funding if it finds that there's been a violation that was not properly addressed. But are we going to continue seeing more cases like this? And as I mentioned in the previous segment, the Biden administration has proven itself to push this transgender ideology in schools in every chance that it gets. And that's alarming. It's concerning. Joining me now to discuss this is Meg Kilgannon. She's a senior fellow for education studies at the Family Research Council. Meg, welcome back to Washington Watch. We appreciate you coming to join us.
Thanks for having me, Jody. It's great to be here.
Well, thank you so much. All right, Meg, let's just, if you can, walk our viewers and listeners through the details of this situation. Am I correct that we're seeing stories like this more and more?
Yes, and I think that we need to just remind everybody, though, the people listening to this show probably don't need to be reminded that allowing children to have access to pornographic content is not a civil right. And so the fact that the American Civil Liberties Union is proceeding along these grounds is disturbing on a whole lot of levels. The governor of Texas understood that there was a lot of energy in the grassroots in Texas and across the country with parents going to school board meetings, reading excerpts from books that he suspected might be in Texas public school libraries. And so Governor Abbott sent a letter to the Texas School Board Association directing them to investigate the matter in Texas school libraries across the state. And if they found books with pornographic content, they were to be removed from the school system in Texas. This is a completely legitimate use of a governor exercising authority over the school system in his state and leading, right? But so there were a couple of school districts, hopefully all the school districts undertook this project, but there are a couple of school districts that the ACLU has targeted for retribution because they responded to this request by the governor and removed books that have sexually explicit and age inappropriate content in them from their public school libraries. So it seems that they're doing the bidding of the publishing industry. Parents are not often going to buy this kind of material for their children. And so the publishing industry sells this instead to schools in order to make money off of this kind of content. It's not appropriate.
This is just unbelievable. I mean, isn't it illegal to provide pornographic material to children?
It is, but there is an educational exception called an obscenity exemption that if the material has educational value, it can be presented to children. Now, you and I would know that that means teaching children about how their bodies function or the process of human reproduction, which is a beautiful and glorious gift from God, right? That's not what's in these books. These books are salacious. They depict sexual activity between people, and it doesn't matter who the people are who are having the sexual activity. We don't want children exposed to books with this kind of material in it. And the fact that the ACLU seems to be obsessed with the fact that some of these books are LGBTQ, I think says more about them than it does about us.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is one of those topics that is infuriating to think that this is being pushed down these children and now the ACLU and I mean, assumingly the Biden administration is going to come out in support of this. So what's going to happen here? Are we going to see the administration? I mean, obviously they're going to be eager to slap the school district on the wrist, or maybe even worse than that. It may be worse than a slap on the wrist. What do you anticipate is going to happen here?
Well, the interesting thing is that the ACLU is operating under this fantasy that it is a civil right for children to have access to pornography. And we know that that's not a civil right. No matter what kind of interpretation you want to try to put on the phrase in Title IX on the basis of sex, it's never going to cover giving children access to books that include sexually explicit scenes. So the Biden administration, the folks at the Office of Civil Rights there at the Department of Education are going to investigate. They will send a lot of letters. They may send people to the school district. There'll be a lot of money paid to lawyers by the school districts, money that should be going into the classroom to support children, but instead will be going to the legal warfare infrastructure around education in the service of these ideologies. It's possible that the school district may have some sort of a penalty in the end, but really it's about publicity around this issue that they are seeking.
All right, Meg, 30 seconds here. What are parents supposed to do? How should parents react when material like this is in their children's school?
Make sure your library knows that you don't want your children to have access to this, and go to frc.org/schools for more information.
Meg Kilgannon, thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on this incredibly important topic. We appreciate it.